In the last section, we spoke about how we're going to solve some issues with the production version of our container by using a multi-step build process. By using a multi-step process, we can use different base images. We can have some amount of configuration or code that gets executed to build up our application and then copy over the results of that to our actual real phase. So let's start putting together our Docker file to put this into action. I'm going to begin by opening up my code editor. And then inside of my root project directory, I'm going to make a new file called Docker file. So inside of here, we're going to have two distinctly different sections. We're going to first write out the section that's going to install all of our dependencies and run the npm run build command. Now the configuration that we're going to use for the first block, or kind of this build phase, is a lot of configuration that we've already looked at several times. So we'll go through it rather quickly. We'll first say from node alpine, and then I'm going to tag this phase with a name. I can tag this by saying as, and then providing the name of this phase or this stage. So I'll call this thing builder. Oops, not that. I'll call it builder like so. By putting on as builder, that means that from this from command and everything underneath it is all going to be referred to as the builder phase. And the sole purpose of this phase is to install dependencies and build our application. Then after that, we're going to see all of the usual configuration that we've been making use of so far throughout this course. So I'll specify my work directory of app. I'll copy over my package.json file to that app directory. I'll run npm install. I'll copy over all of my source code. So notice now that we are doing this build phase and we kind of don't have any concern over changing our source code, we don't have to make use of that entire volume system anymore. That volume system that we were implementing with Docker Compose was only required because we wanted to develop our application and have our changes immediately show up inside the container. When we're running our code in a production environment, that's not a concern anymore because we're not changing our code at all. So we can just do a straight copy of all of our source code directly into the container.